Tarasov cherche quel jeu à exécuter. C'est Demidov derrière le filet. Suzuki!
The Habs are in Florida. Adam Engstrom back into the lineup. Jaden Struble out. Alexandre Texier onto the first line. Alexandre Bolduc down. Samuel Montembeault in the net for Montreal. And you have to think this is his last chance. If he doesn't show up and deliver, I don't see any way they're going to keep using him because he's been completely unplayable up to this point in the season. He's cost the Canadiens points all year long. Fowler and Dolbush have given the Canadiens points in 5 straight games and 8 of the last 9, and every point is crucial in this Atlantic playoff race. Montembeault 5-6-1, 365 goals against average, 857 save percentage, and his counterpart for tonight, Daniil Tarasov for the Florida Panthers. His numbers much better, 4-6-1, but with a 297 goals against average and a straight 900 save percentage. Tons of Habs fans there tonight. They completely invade South Florida every time Montreal's in town. Montembeault made a few nice saves early on. They were nothing spectacular, but a few of them were the type of shots that were beating him earlier in the season. Montreal got an early power play tonight, but again, they didn't get much of anything going, and you worry about that kind of thing starting to cost them. They got the puck into dangerous places a couple times, but the first unit didn't really generate many shots on goal on the power play. Suzuki and Caulfield have really only looked dangerous lately on the power play with Slafkovsky. They've been struggling to get things going 5-on-5. But even the power play has been sputtering the last few games, and it remains to be seen what Alexandre Texier can bring to that first line. But I think when Kirby Dach is finally ready to come into the lineup, he'll find himself on the wing on that first line. The second line, again, had a very strong game, highlighted by one shift in particular by Ivan Demidov, which he generated multiple high-danger scoring chances, near misses for the Canadiens. They were so close to scoring. The first line did look dangerous. Alexandre Texier brought a new aspect to that line, and on a few occasions, the Canadiens' first line was able to generate a few good-looking chances, especially as the period went on. And after a hesitant first few minutes in which Florida got the majority of the chances, things evened up, and Montreal looked a lot more comfortable with their game. They got really good chances from the top 3 lines. The fourth line did really nothing offensively, but they didn't cost the Canadiens defensively, and they were good on the ice. So it was a good road period by the Canadiens, and while it wasn't quite as dominant as the first period in Tampa Bay, you'd still have liked to see the Canadiens convert on at least one of their opportunities, but they don't do it. They go in tied at 0, and to be honest, any period where Samuel Montembeault is in net and you allow 0 goals is a victory, so you have to look at the bright side. Montreal now has to avoid the same traps they fell into on Sunday against the Lightning. Don't let the long changes and a few bad bounces completely derail your game, because you'll not be able to come back from a 3-goal deficit on a consistent basis. The Habs go into the second period, and it's a very slow start for both teams. There's not many chances put towards the net. Ivan Demidov eventually forces the Panthers into taking a penalty. Really nice play. Gives the Habs a second opportunity on the power play. They've got to take advantage. They cannot allow their opportunities and power plays to keep going to waste. Unfortunately, Marty starts the power play off with the second unit. I know the first unit had just come off a shift, but they were horrendous. They gave up an early 2-on-1. The Panthers almost scored a shorty. Fortunately, the shot missed the net, and once the first unit did get on the ice, they had a few really strong scoring chances, including an unreal sequence in which Caulfield was robbed from just a few feet outside when his shot went off the stick of Tarasov and then off of the goalpost. The Canadiens got multiple glorious chances throughout the first half of this game, but it was a similar story to the game on Sunday night against the Lightning, and you just hope that it doesn't follow the same sequence where it ends up costing the Canadiens, where their lack of execution comes back to haunt them. The shot totals were pretty equal at this point. The Canadiens' chances were much higher quality, and they held the Panthers without a shot for over 13 minutes in the second period, until finally the fourth line got caught out. The Habs take a penalty, and that kind of got the offensive wheels rolling for the Panthers. But when shorthanded, Samuel Montembeault actually stepped up and made a few huge saves. The refs made themselves a bit of a story. I did not like the penalty call they made on Suzuki. His stick kind of just grazed the hand. They ended up calling him for a hook. And all of Florida's shots in the second period came on those 2 power plays right at the end. And it was quite impressive for Montembeault to have gone almost 15 minutes without having faced a shot, to making 7 or 8 really nice saves in just a 5-minute span. Florida used their power plays. They gained a bit of momentum and they looked dangerous after that point, but Montreal was the better team for the majority of the second, for the vast majority of the second, and again, they're unlucky to go into that intermission tied at 0s. If the first period was a good period by the Canadiens, the second period was even better, and it all hinges on how the Habs come out and play in the third. And the third period is another example of the Canadiens playing with fire. Early on, they get called for interference. It is a questionable call by the officials, but by the definition of the rule, it's a penalty. The refs, unfortunately, were making themselves too much of a story for my liking in this game, but the Canadiens were able to survive, and they held the Panthers at bay. Montembeault made saves when he needed to. Montreal had repeated chances on the power play, and after Forsling went to the box, the Canadiens again failed to capitalize on their opportunities. The power play, all of a sudden, that's been so good, is sputtering and unable to even generate many chances on the power play. The Canadiens continue to take penalties and send the Panthers on the man advantage, so finally, Slafkovsky gets his stick in the skates, puts the Panthers on another power play, and it finally comes back to bite the Canadiens. The book is out on Sam Montembeault. Teams know, fire from distance with a screen, he's gonna have trouble. Brad Marchand does exactly that. Wheels around the net, waits for traffic to set up in front of Sam Montembeault, fires a wrist shot on, it makes it through the crowd of bodies. Montembeault never sees it, and it's 1-0 for the Panthers. Juraj Slafkovsky is despondent in the box. He knows this cost them. It's a brutal penalty. They gave the Panthers too many opportunities, and Florida capitalized where Montreal did not. And throughout the game, Montreal just let their chances slip through their fingers and didn't capitalize. Montreal had so many opportunities to score, but they just had no finish. There were odd man rushes, slot chances, power plays. Hudson made a terrific pass. Suzuki deked in, got 2 chances on net, but Tarasov made great saves, kept it out. And then the goaltender that we've all come to expect Samuel Montembeault to be this season shows up at the worst possible time. With 5 minutes to go, the Panthers just throw a weak wrister from the boards on net, and it beats Montembeault. It was an awful goal. He's played so well all game. You felt so bad for him, but even when he plays great, he gives up a goal like this. It's so frustrating, but the Canadiens go down 2-0. You think they're completely deflated. That's going to be it. There's no chance at all. But they do not give up, and they do not quit. And it all starts with an incredible one-man effort by Cole Caulfield. Unreal dekes. A toe drag for the ages, outweights Tarasov and rips a shot through the 5-hole. Just 30 seconds after the Panthers take a 2-0 lead, the Canadiens split it in half, get themselves back to within a single goal. It's 2-1, and what an incredible goal by Cole Caulfield. He's had a little bit of trouble finding the back of the net lately. Not here. My goodness, the stick handling on this guy is just insane. What a goal. The Habs have 4.5 minutes to try to tie this one up. Another multi-goal deficit in the third period. They've got to stop doing this. But they have time. Can they do it? They start putting shots on net. They start taking chances. Tarasov still making saves. They end up pulling the goaltender with just over 2 minutes to go. They're maintaining puck possession in the offensive zone. And finally, Ivan Demidov in behind the net picks Danil Tarasov's pocket, gets the puck out in front, and guess who it is? The captain, Nick Suzuki, on a great pass from Ivan Demidov, finds the corner, sneaks it by Tarasov, and somehow the Canadiens have drawn even. It is 2-2 late in the third period. Another multi-goal deficit in the third period, completely erased by late game heroics by the Montreal Canadiens. I cannot believe they did it again somehow. They did it with less than 90 seconds, and it's by no means an effective or a smart way to play, but somehow in back-to-back games, the Canadiens steal a point at the last opportunity against an opposition that they should have put away earlier in the game. We go into overtime. Reinhart makes an unbelievable individual effort early on. Sam Montembeault slams the door shut, and then Brad Marchand does what Brad Marchand does. A dirty hit on Matheson, clear elbow to the head. He should be suspended for this. I don't think he will because the NHL is a joke. But the Canadiens get a power play in overtime. It's a 4-on-3. Marty decides he's going to put out 4 forwards. It's Nick Suzuki, it's Juraj Slafkovsky, it's Cole Caulfield, it's Ivan Demidov. They work the puck around. There's some great puck movement, great opportunities. They put one off the side of the net. They have trouble handling the puck. Suzuki gets one in front. He rips it off the bar, and the Canadiens just have 20 seconds left on the power play. They're hanging their heads. They're so frustrated. The team is frustrated. But an unbelievable passing play. Great fake shot by Lane Hudson. Spies Nick Suzuki standing all alone in the slot. And Suzuki, you cannot miss this one. There's no hitting the post on this one. He's right in the crease, and he slams it home. Brad Marchand, you cost your team the game. Great job by the Habs. The whole team fired up. Look at Marty St. Louis, Robida, and Letowski. Just so pumped. What an incredible finish. What an incredible gutsy performance by the Montreal Canadiens. A huge overtime victory. Thank God it did not go to shootout. I don't know if I could have handled that again, but the Canadiens finally bury one in overtime. They've hit so many posts in their last few overtime games. It was so refreshing to see them get a win. But they do it for Sam Montembeault. Thank God for him, because if he had lost or had a very poor performance, I don't think he would have played another game in the Canadiens uniform. The Habs do a miraculous job. It's a miracle of a victory. They cannot hope to keep playing games this way. They have to realize this is not a sustainable option. But the road trip continues. They've earned points in every game so far. They go on next to Carolina to take on the Hurricanes, so it's going to be another very tough contest. Anyway, you guys, that's going to be it for me. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. What an unbelievable game. If you made it to the end of the video, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And have a great night, guys.
Enjoy the day off tomorrow.